Alright guys, you're gonna have to deal with some background noise I got going on here. My neighbors are having a pool party, so they got the music pumping and it's catching on my audio here, and we're just gonna have to deal with it because I don't have any other time to make this video. And they're pumping that hip hop. My neighbors are black, by the way. Virtue. Alright, so where do I start with this video? I seen a video the other day, a tweet online actually, about a state representative that claimed that someone in a store told her to go back where she came from. So we all know about the Trump shit that went down with the big three, as I was calling them, or what they want to be called, the squad. We all know what Trump said as he told them to go back where they came from because he's retarded. I'm sure he did it just for other reasons, maybe to stir up this shit in the media. Possibly try and make them, the face of the Democratic Party, which they're trying to do anyway. Not that I think Trump is that smart at all, or is playing 4D chess like a lot of his supporters think, but I find it hard to believe that he didn't know that 3/4 of them were from this country. So this woman, Erica Thomas, a state representative for Georgia, I believe, claims to have been on the express line in a store that said 10 items or less, and she had more than 10 apparently, and some guy got crazy on her in line, freaked out, started yelling at her, calling her a son of a bitch, and stopped being lazy because she didn't want to wait, and she got upset and she's like, I'm pregnant. And he's like, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. And he told her, apparently, go back where you came from. This was retweeted by our favorite pasty boy, Sean King. Also, Beto O'Rourke. And to me, it all sounded kind of fishy. Now, I didn't really doubt that the incident in general didn't occur. Like, I'm sure she went through that shit and the guy called her a son of a bitch, like an asshole. He was probably just some angry fucker. Sometimes myself, I get angry if I see that shit on the line and someone has like 20 items, or there's an express line and they're on my line with like a couple of items. Shit like that makes me angry sometimes. I may or may not say something at the time, depending on my mood and what type of person they are. No, I don't mean skin color people. I mean attitude-wise. If they're young, if they're old, I might not bother with it. If they're pregnant, I probably wouldn't bother with it either. This guy was probably an asshole of sorts, especially since she's pregnant and with kids with her. There's no reason to do that to someone. Anyway, back to it all seeming a little bit fishy to me. Like I said, it was only a couple of days after the Trump incident. So the timing seems so coincidental to me, I guess. It just was like too perfect of timing. So I'm thinking this is another Jussie Smollett to a lesser extent, and to an extent that you won't hear about it either. But I wasn't going to talk about it at all. I pretty much just ignored it. But then today I stumbled across an article and I was like, holy shit, check this out. I could be right about this one. From the Associated Press, I saw an article, white man denies saying go back where you came from. A white man has admitted cursing at a pregnant black Georgia lawmaker for taking too many items into a supermarket express lane, but denies telling her go back where you came from. Eric Sparks showed up during a WSB TV interview with Rep. Erica Thomas of Austell on Saturday outside the Atlanta area store where the incident occurred, the station reported. He denied making any racially charged comment, adding, I am Cuban. I'm Cuban, B? See, Devin? I told you, there are plenty of white Cubans out there. We're a thing. Thomas confronted Sparks in front of reporters and said he had degraded and berated her. She has told the Associated Press she notified police and will seek store video. In a tearful Facebook video posted Friday, Thomas said she was in the express line because she is 9 months pregnant and cannot stand for long. Sparks said she told him the same thing, and he responded, it doesn't matter during this case. There's 2 empty lines. You don't need to be in the express lane. In an exchange shown on video, Thomas asked, what did you say to me then? I called you a lazy bitch. That's the worst thing I said, Sparks answered. Thomas said Sparks was just trying to make himself look better. Sparks said he's a Democrat and was being unjustly attacked for political purposes. Thomas said Friday that she never identified herself to Sparks as a public official. She said she was so taken aback by his actions that she didn't think to try and record them. The incident came days after the President Donald Trump tweeted that 4 congresswomen of color, including U.S. Rep. Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, America should go back to the broken and crime-infested countries they came from. In her video, Thomas alluded to those attacks and accused the president of inciting hate. During the television interview, she said Sparks needs to be held accountable because people can't just go out and berate pregnant women. Well, I don't know what you could do because all he did was yell at you. I don't know what they could possibly charge this guy for. You're just gonna have to take that, unfortunately. I don't think there's anything that's gonna be done here, because if all he did was yell at her and they had an argument, even though he was the one that started it, nothing's really gonna happen here. Now, real quick, I want to just go through her video on a couple of parts. I'm gonna cut out the stupid bits that I don't think are important, and I just want to show you some of the things that bother me, and I'm just not buying it. I buy that the incident occurred, I buy that the guy was a dick or an asshole, and he was probably in the wrong to begin with, but I do have a feeling this woman is pushing this political agenda here, and made this video and said this just for that.
So you know what I decided? I decided to go live because I'm very upset, because people are getting really out of control with this white privilege stuff.
Okay, right off the bat, I'm trying to figure out why she made this video when she was crying, and why she didn't decide to do this video a little bit later after she had gained her composure again and stopped crying. That is beyond me. The only reason I could see that being is for sympathy points. Why else would you do this? I don't see the reason for it otherwise. She wants to tug at the heartstrings, I think. And I'm not saying she's fake crying. She could be really crying because she actually feels really shitty. But I just don't understand why you wouldn't wait till you've gained your composure. That's the first thing that sticks out to me. The second thing that bothers me is how she's like, oh, this white privilege thing. It's enough of this white privilege stuff going on. I'm just not buying it. It seems like she threw that in there for nothing. Like, what does this have to do with white privilege? Just because someone has a disagreement with you and is an asshole and says, get out of line, you know, you're not doing the right thing, which she technically wasn't, but I don't care. I'm not faulting her for that. It's something so minimal I don't care about. But it's like this barbecue Betty bullshit where you can't fucking call out a black person when they're wrong. Fuck that. So that's just the second thing that caught my eye. I'm just not buying the white privilege argument here out of nowhere for this incident. This didn't have to have any racial connotation to it at all. And she's gonna say something later that sort of contradicts this white privilege theory of hers. But real quick before we get back to the video, how about this? I've never heard anyone from America ever tell an American black person to go back where they came from. Unless they're toting some we was kings Africa shit, I've never heard a white person say to a black person, yo, you need to go back where you came from. We know they're from here. No one thinks they're not from here. That is the craziest part of this all to me. That's sort of the biggest reason why I don't buy this, because I've never heard anyone, like I said, to tell an American black person to go back where they came from. I've heard them say, oh, if you like Africa so much, why don't you go there? I've heard that before, but that's different, and it has a different context. That's someone pushing some Afrocentrist bullshit, you know, we was kings shit, and the person's just like, well, if you like it there so much, why don't you go there? They don't say go back where you came from. They know they didn't come from there. They know their ancestors might have come from there, but they know they were born in America. So I've never heard anyone tell a black American, go back where you came from. Anyway, let's get back to this.
I'm at the grocery store, and I'm in the 10 aisle, the aisle that says 10 items or less. Yes, I have 15 items, but I'm 9 months pregnant, and I can't stand up for long. And this white man comes up to me and says, you lazy son of a bitch. He says, you lazy son of a bitch. You need to go back where you came from.
Not to be a complete ass, but by go back where you came from, maybe he meant the regular line.
And I'm just sorry, y'all. I don't ever come on like this, but I said, people need to see the hate that is going on in this country. The hate is real. And for that white man to come up to me and call me a son of a bitch and lazy and go back where I came from because he had a couple items and he wanted to get in front of me. And he said I had 20 items in a 10 item line. What would make you that angry to yell at somebody like that? It just hurt me so bad, y'all. And I'm tough. You know what I'm saying? I'm a state rep. I fight for other people. I'm tough. But when you're in a situation and somebody tells you, you son of a bitch, you're ignorant, go back home where you came from. And I'm thinking like, I'm from America. What are you... It really hurt me so bad, y'all. And I'm sorry for everybody that has to go through this type of stuff. Why do you hate people in your heart like that? What would make you hate somebody that bad? And I'm real, y'all. Yes, I'm a state rep. I'm supposed to have all this under control, but I'm real, y'all. I'm 9 months pregnant, and I was in that line today, and I didn't cry until I was pushing my buggy out before that man called me a son of a bitch and yell at me and tell me that I'm ignorant and I'm a son of a bitch, all because I had 20 items in a 10 item line. It hurt me so bad, y'all, and I'm sorry. I don't usually cry, but I just had to tell everybody what's going on in this world. It's real. And I know y'all see Ilhan Omar and y'all see all this stuff about send her back and stuff like that, but it's getting out of control. And it's inciting so much hate. And I have never been, nobody's ever told me that or yelled at me as an adult in my adult life. I've never had a white man come up to me and say those things to me.
So you see how she brings up Ilhan and how the hate is real and Trump is inciting all this hatred. But then she says herself, I never had a white man ever say anything like that to me. So I have to assume from that statement she hasn't experienced much racism in her life if a white man has never even called her a son of a bitch before. I seriously don't know with this video. It doesn't feel right to me. I know the incident occurred, like I said, but I'm not buying the go back home part of it. I'm really not. And to speak of the hatred, this Trump madness started after like 2 or 3 or 4 years of constant berating of white people by the media and by minorities. This trend has been going on for a while now, and now you're seeing the pushback. But we're just gonna say it's because of Trump. It's only because of Trump. Everything was fucking A-okay. Okie dokie. Everything was fucking hunky-dory racially right before Trump got elected, right? That is some fucking horseshit. And that's why I think she's just trying to push this agenda that's coming from the Democratic Party at this point in time. It's their entire campaign right now. Some of the top talking points of the debates were immigration and Trump's America and calling out white racists. And I'm sorry, I'm just not buying it. Now I'm going to put myself out on a limb there, and I'm going to say that part of the story is complete bullshit. I'm going to believe the guy for now. I may have to come back and eat crow, but that's fine. I don't mind it. I'm not wrong that often. They don't call me Nostrabongus for nothing. So if the videotape reveals that he said that shit, I'll make a video and say, guess what? I was wrong. I'm sorry. But I shouldn't have to apologize for having an opinion on something anyway. But I'll do it anyway because that's the kind of guy I am. A nice, swell guy. Anyway, guys, have a good night.